I am your host, Salvador Villalobos, and co-hosting with me today is
Val Garcia. Thank you for having me, Sal.
Thank you, Val. So today's special guest is Sandi King. Sandi King is an IRS enrolled agent, and she's the owner and IRS enrolled agent with King Financial Services located in Euless. Today we're going to be talking about income tax and the CARES Act package. Good afternoon, Sandi. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon. Glad to be here.
Thank you. So, Sandi, tell us a little bit about yourself. What is an enrolled agent, IRS enrolled agent?
Well, an enrolled agent is the only federally licensed tax practitioner from the IRS, and we specialize in taxation, and we also have unlimited rights to represent all taxpayers before the IRS. So we're a little different than the CPAs, that we specialize in tax planning, where a CPA basically specializes in audits and accounting. So our licensing testing is probably a little bit more strenuous than the CPA, and we have the continued education of 30 units per year to keep up with all the new tax laws, and this has been a really great year for that, because everything's been changing on a monthly basis.
So tell me, like what? Tell me what has been changing on a monthly basis, recent changes.
Well, the CARES Act, we have a new CARES Act coming out that was just signed into law a week ago, and with that we have a new round of PPP for business owners to help out with their payroll. And the difference this time is you have to have at least 25% of 1 quarter reduction in sales. So as long as 1 quarter last year in 2020 was lower than the quarter that same quarter in 2019, then you qualify for the PPP. Also, for restaurants, you are allowed to have 3.5 times your payroll, whereas before it was only 2.5 times, and for everybody that's not a restaurant, it's 2.5 times. Now, these loans are forgiven if you use the money for what it's intended for. The first payroll PPP was only used for payroll, rent or mortgage, and employee benefits and utilities. Now you can use it for a whole lot of different things, such as utilities, operations, expenditures, some property damage, even supplies, worker protection, all the COVID things that you've had to put up, interest on mortgage, rent. So it's a little bit better. That's one big change in the last week.
So when you're saying mortgage and rent,
$600.
So when you're saying mortgage and rent, is that just for business owners, or is that also for homeowners?
This is only for business owners. This is to help small businesses with less than 300 employees to help make it through this troubling time, especially for restaurants, bars, and all of the businesses that have been hurt so badly from the COVID.
All right. So like for
shutdown.
So for that's helping the homeowner. I mean the business owner. But what about their employees? Besides the payroll, is there anything that's been allocated to assist, say, a resident, one of their employees?
Well, we know that they extended the time that they can be, kicked out of their houses. That's no longer in effect as of December 31st. I'm not sure how long that's going to last. I don't even think they know how long it's going to last. But there's no more evictions as of right now. Another thing that's a real big change is with COVID, the people who are getting earned income tax credit, which is low-income money for people who don't make a lot of money, the IRS or the government was worried that they didn't make any money, they wouldn't qualify for EITC, or they wouldn't qualify for very much. So now you will have the option on your 2020 tax return to use either your 2019 income to qualify or your 2020 income to qualify, whatever's best for you. So that's a big change, and that's for EITC and for the child tax credit. So all those people who didn't make any money or just had unemployment all year long, they wouldn't have qualified for that extra money, but now they will if they qualify for it in 2019. That's a big change.
So
that's going to help a lot of people.
It definitely is.
Also, if you did not get your stimulus money, there's a credit that you'll be able to get on your tax return, so that you'll get that money with your tax return, refund.
So you're going to get,
or apply it toward your taxes.
All right. So you're going to get $600 towards your taxes, or you're going to get that refund. So if you were receiving $1,000, now you're going to receive $1,600, hypothetically.
No, that's not correct. So we're
Okay.
talking about the $1,200 that was sent earlier.
Oh,
the
from
$1,200
last
for
year.
adults and the $600 for children. That's
Okay.
the stimulus money. Because this one that was just sent out, that was for 2020, not for 2009. I mean 2021, not for 2020.
Okay.
So that will go into effect on when you do your 2021 tax return. For the 2020, we're talking about the $1,200 that was sent out in March and April for adults, and $600 for children under 16.
All right. So it's not from when it was signed or gone into effect, but when they were starting to be sent out. Is that correct?
Right. So if you didn't get so if you didn't get your money, and there's a lot of people out there who did not get their money for one reason or another, then you can apply for it with your tax return.
Okay, great.
So Sandy,
So that's going to help.
Sandy, just visiting here with us, we can all tell how tricky the tax codes are and everything. It's a real benefit for people to get in front of you and understand what you do and how you can help them and how you can save them money in the long run.
Yes, because there's so many different things coming out this year. It's going to be almost impossible for the normal person to capture all of their credits and all their opportunities to receive money back from the IRS this year. You really need to talk to a tax professional. And a tax professional is a licensed person, an enrolled agent, a tax attorney, or a CPA, because we have all of the tools and all of the education and all the resources to find out everything that's going on. I just got notices from the IRS today about some of the changes on the CARES Act. So these are all brand new stuff. But these are all going to affect your tax return in a month. So most of this information is the IRS does not have time to put it out for public display. It's going to go out to the tax professionals, and they're the ones that are going to have the access to it.
So when you're saying tax
really
professional,
important.
sorry, Sandy. So when you're saying tax professional, I shouldn't go to my cousin Rick to do my taxes. I shouldn't be going to a like an H&R Block or something similar like that type of company. Will they be prepared for that or no?
I don't know if your cousin Rich is a CPA or an EA or a tax attorney. I don't know.
QuickBooks
But,
2018.
He may be. H&R Block, they should have most of this information, and a lot of the software is going to be designed for it. Mm-hmm. The problem is right now we have to now change all of the software again before we can release it in February. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a big hurdle. And how long is it going to be tested? It's really not going to be tested before it's out there with the public. So we as professionals will know how it's supposed to be applied, how it's supposed to show up on your 1040, and if it's being used correctly. A person who's not familiar with this is not going to know that. H&R Block, they should have the personnel to oversee this, but I can't guarantee that.
Right. Okay.
If you're a small business owner, I would not suggest going to H&R Block this year.
All right.
So normally, Sandy, when people see IRS in front of a name, it scares them. It scares me. With audits and everything else. But in your case, it's a blessing to people. You're out helping people with this.
Because we're not, I need to put it this way. A lot of the enrolled agents used to work for the IRS. Right. They were, tax collectors or auditors or whatever, and they've gone left the IRS and started their own practice. I never worked for the dark side. I did the old-fashioned way and took all the testing and all of that. But we are, we have contacts within the IRS. I can talk to somebody in collections I know personally. I can talk to somebody in all the different places, for auditing or for liens or whatever, and get results a lot faster than anybody else can, including CPAs. If you go to the IRS and you have a problem, they'll tell you to go find an enrolled agent in your area. They won't tell you to find a CPA. They'll tell you to find an enrolled agent because we talk the same language as they do.
So how far, when you're saying your area, what defines your area? Is it based on county? Is it based on, what is your range or your radius that that somebody should call you? Should somebody call you from El Paso or?
They can call me from Puerto Rico. Because unlike a CPA is only licensed in the state they work in. We are federally licensed. So we are licensed across the 50 United States, Guam, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands.
Wow.
And there's a lot of enrolled agents overseas who help expats and to file their taxes in the United States. So I deal with, I do tax returns for probably 20 different states right now.
Oh, I don't envy you at all. So, Sandy.
It's different this year because the states are not complying with the federal either.
Oh.
So, you have all these states, for instance, who allow marijuana, and the federal doesn't.
So, switching gears back to help for our residents. What in the CARES package, besides the $600 stimulus check that they'll be receiving, what besides the eviction moratorium, what else is there available for them in the CARES package?
Well, most of the CARES package is designed to help small businesses. They are giving a $600 check. They are allowing some changes with the tax code as far as, being able to qualify for EITC or child tax credit based on the 2019 income. There's not a whole lot left for just individuals. It's pretty much designed for small businesses, the small mom and pop restaurants that, you see closing every single day because they can't make it.
Right.
So they're trying to keep those open and trying to keep people with paychecks. Now, they did extend, as you know, the unemployment. So they put $350 extra on the unemployment, so that's going to help a lot of people out who are unemployed. It is all still going to be taxable. They did, question that. They did push that back and forth, but it is still taxable, like it always has been. That's going to be a difference. They changed the PPP laws on the first round, where it used to be that they could not, if you got $20,000 to go toward your payroll and you used it for payroll, you couldn't write the $20,000 off on your tax return. Well, that's changed. You can still now write the $20,000 as a payroll expense. So basically, it's just a grant.
Okay. And
you still get to take all the deductions. So that changed with this new one. But as far as the individual is concerned, it's pretty much the eviction moratorium, the $600, and the changes in the tax code where you can use 2019 income, and you'll also get the credit for the stimulus check if you did not receive the first round. Okay. And that's going to apply, I think, a lot for the children who were students in 2019 and a dependent of their adults in the family, but in 2020 they were independent. And since it was based on 2019, they got nothing.
Wow.
Absolutely nothing. So the young adults who were dependent of their parents for 2019 on their own got nothing for 2020. And so I'm kind of waiting to see if they're going to be able to get the $1,200 since they're filing on their own that they didn't get. So we'll have to see on that one.
Sandy, real quick, if somebody would like to get not everybody speaks English, right, or understands it correctly. Mm-hmm. If somebody wants to get in front of an IRS enrolled agent in a different language, where can they search for that?
Well, you go into the National Association of Enrolled Agents, and you can actually put your zip code in, and they'll tell you all the enrolled agents in your area, and you can find a bilingual enrolled agent from there. Right. That's probably the best way to do it.
And if they want to get hold,
if they want to contact me, I have several friends in Texas who are bilingual and speak different languages, so I could direct them.
How can they get in contact with you, Sandy?
Okay, my email is Sandi, SANDI, at King Financial, S as in Sam, V as in Victor, C as in Cat, S as in Sam.com. So it's services. King Financial, SVCS.com. Sandi at King Financial Services. And, of course, you can go to my email or my website, King Financial Services, and send me a message through that, too. And I will have somebody contact you who speaks Spanish.
Fantastic. So, Sandi, we're coming down to the end of our segment. We truly appreciate you being here, giving us all this great information, especially now that we're in dire need of it. Can you tell us, Sandi, what does homeownership mean to you personally?
It means everything. It means security. It means safety. I have control over my environment. I love the fact that I can go into my home, I can make the rules for my home, I can decide, if what is healthy and what is not healthy in my own household, and nobody else has to make a decision about that. If you're renting, you don't really have the opportunity to change things in your house to make them safer. I do have that because I have home ownership, and I appreciate that, especially over the time of COVID and anything else that's going on.
Exactly. Thank you, Sandi, so much for being part of our show today. Thank you for making time for us.
I appreciate you guys giving this information out because, like I said, IRS does not have the time or the manpower to get this information out to the general public, and it's information that they need to know.
All right. Thank you so much again, and I'll be calling you.
Thank you.
Personally.
Yeah, me
All
too.
right. You have a great day. Be
Take
safe.
care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Coming up after the break, this week's REBA Member Spotlight. Stay tuned. You're listening to The REBA Show, Home Ownership. Hear it from the experts, live from Fishbowl Radio Network at Globe Life Park, Arlington, Texas, the American Dream City. My name is Salvia Lobos. Co-hosting with me today is
Val Garcia, thank you for having me, Sal.
Thank you, Val, for being here. I am so proud to introduce this week's HREBA member. She gives so much of her time to this organization. She is out there in the community providing such incredible financial literacy education. She goes the extra mile. I personally have seen that. So welcome, Rosa Meza. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Rosa.
Okay. Well, basically, I grew up in Fort Worth. I am a native of Mexico. I grew up in Fort Worth. I went to the University of Texas at Arlington, where I got my bachelor's in communication technology.
Okay.
While in college, and even in high school, my heart was always to help. I come from a large family, and so I was always kind of like the second mom, helping out and everything. So it comes to me naturally to always lend a helping hand, no matter where. Like I said, while in college, I like to always be involved. And so I was a founder of my own organization, Theta Chi Omega Multicultural Sorority,
Okay.
where I met my current broker, Noel Rendon, and he was actually my mentor at that point.
Okay.
And so when I graduated in 2003, I started a career at North Texas Higher Education Authority, where I was a federal student loan servicing officer for about 14 years.
All right.
And I would assist, in helping further education and help, students achieve their higher learning.
So you're higher learning and what else? I mean, financial?
Basically, yeah, we did the financial aid. When it came to doing your subsidized, unsubsidized, and consolidating their loans. So I was at the other end and helping them with their payment plans and, what would help them out.
So how did that roll into joining HREBA, volunteering, and at the same time helping the community learn more and what to do?
While I was working there as well, we would also go to high schools and kind of help and do some financial literacy and help out. And so that kind of led me, into when I got married, as far as when I received, I had the desire to buy my own house and not make somebody else, their mortgage.
Right.
So with
for
the
you.
experience that I received, I wanted to do that with other people as well.
That's great.
I think everybody doesn't get the same experience. And I'm very grateful that I had a really great realtor. My broker as well, he pushed me a lot, and he said, he gave me a lot of motivational talk about it, and he encouraged me. And so I left corporate America to be a realtor and be able to assist and be there for myself and my family. Basically, that was the most important part. Yeah, the flexibility.
Okay, great.
As a realtor, isn't it one of the greatest feelings when you hand somebody their keys for the first time and it's their first home?
Absolutely. It is very hard. It's emotional because you go through their process. You go through the emotions, the roller coaster rides, whether it's good or bad, for all of them, and you kind of live their story all over again.
It's funny how it becomes more than a job or profession. It becomes your clients become your friends so fast, and you want the very best for them at all times. And when you hand them that key, it's like their entire world has changed, and you're a huge part of it, and they'll always remember you.
Yes, of course. And I still, even to these days, I still see friends, and they become family. They thank you, and then they refer additional friends as well because of what you've done for them. Yes.
What's the longest chain of family members you've been helping?
The longest chain of family members, I have a variety of everybody.
Do you?
Yes, I really do.
So you're the generational realtor?
I'm working on it, definitely.
You're
Yes.
too young yet.
This is my 5th year. I'm coming up on my 5th year here in April. So
Fantastic.
it's always a learning, no matter how long I've been.
It's a changing world every day, isn't it? When
Of
you go
course.
out there, you never know what you're going to walk into.
Yes, sir.
So how did you come across HREBA? What attracted you to HREBA? What does HREBA mean to you?
HREBA basically was the backbone of my learning and my network of friends and in leadership in this real estate community, because when you first go out and you do your real estate classes, it's not what you're taught. Definitely, it's not in the books what we do. We do a lot more than what we actually learn. And so HREBA, basically, I had a friend who went to a school, to church, and Susie Delkey Garcia, she
Yes.
reached out to me, and she told me about HREBA, and she knew I was very involved in my church and would like me to be, involved with the Hispanic Real Estate Brokers Association. I didn't hesitate, and so I said, definitely. Even my first year being there, I went ahead and jumped on board and was part of the board of directors and became a secretary my first time around.
Oh, wow.
Because I wanted to be that involved. Yeah.
And you are involved. Everywhere I look, you're there. That's
Yes.
awesome. And you bring your family with as well. So
I do.
to the different events.
Yes.
You're a very integral part of this organization. I am very you have a very serving heart, a great big serving heart, and I mean there's nothing that you, from what I've seen, that you won't do for our community. So if anybody's looking to join an organization that gives back to the community without, and this is not a paid position, right? These aren't paid positions. It's all
No, of course
volunteering.
not. It's all done through heart. You
Right.
get paid with that friendship.
Right.
That love that you get
Right.
back, and
Right.
that's the great sense of accomplishment.
So what would you tell them? Somebody that's on the fence of joining, or somebody that doesn't know where to go. What would you tell somebody, a real estate professional, loan officer, title agent, what do you call it? Inspector, interior designer.
Yeah, okay. Definitely HREBA has been, like I said, a backbone to what I've learned. Because not only when we host our classes, people see you out there and they get to acknowledge you and see, but it's not about that. It's about giving and being accessible. HREBA is a family.
Right.
It definitely is, somebody's always there. You have your brokerage, of course, but HREBA has been my extended family, and through them and all the different vendors that I've known, that's how I've been able to expand my business.
And they push you. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, I think that is one of the biggest things people don't understand about REBA is once you become a member and you start coming to the meetings, you start coming to the events, that everybody wants to network with you and everybody wants to help you out in one way or the other. And it's not just realtors, and it's not just, loan officers. It is everything you can think of that people do in this world. And you have a resource right here. And the biggest part of it is they want to help. They just need to know that you want help.
What's the old adage? You get what you put into it.
That's right.
Yes.
You get out what you put in. So, you put in a lot.
I have put in a lot, and you know what? I don't hesitate when it comes to anybody needing anything. I do it by heart, and of course, that's just me. And I have my family with the REBA family. They do it as well. They've been there for me. Thank y'all very much.
You're welcome. You know what? And they push you out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Especially Leticia, the CEO. She is awesome at that, but you know what? She works on your strengths. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for her.
She has definitely taken the best out of me.
Which is
but
good.
You know what? And has made me better.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit, a specific time or a specific family that you've helped, that you've brought them from not being able to buy something to the ultimate American dream.
That's a great question. Now that I have you here, you were actually a part of it. I'm going to say, we did help a family who really struggled, and they were living in a small home, and you were the lender to push through that. It was a roller coaster ride. It almost didn't happen. But you know what? We were a great team.
It was a great team, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were taken advantage of. They were stories of being taken advantage of, and they were very untrusting. But they always, and being the loan officer, they always double check, whatever you would say, and you would come back, and we would never coordinate, but you would always go back and just let them know what it is.
Yeah, it's the reassurance of being able to know that we're here for you, and we're not going to let it, just drop, because there's possibilities. Anything can happen.
Right.
Yes.
So, Rosa, I think a lot of times people who are wanting to buy their first home or buy a new home, something, they think, oh, I'm not ready yet. When would you tell them, hey, give me a call, or, reach out to somebody, reach out to REBA, see if we can put you in contact with a member? It's not I got to have everything up front. It's part of being a realtor is helping
Right.
them.
I mean, you're never ready, right? Just kind of like with everything else, you're never ready, but you have to start somewhere, definitely. And so I don't like to push people onto something that they don't want, but you know what? At the same time, after you've kind of throw the resources at them and assist them in what they need, the outcome is the best part. So basically, any time is a good time because you don't know, maybe they may not qualify at that time.
Right.
But with the resources that Ariba has and the great networks that we have, we're able to get them where they need to be. And if it doesn't work out for one, then we can always, be with somebody else.
And I mean, I've had referrals from other members, and I'm like, I'm not the best suited for that one.
Right.
Call Joe, call Susie, call Rosa, or a lender, but a lender. Call them. They'll be the ones to help you. Although I have this or that, what you're specifically looking for, I think they're the best one for you, because it's all about what's best for the client or future client, because they remember that you went over and above yourself to help them. And I've seen you do that as well with other agents. So I commend you for that.
And I'm going to jump into a real industry secret here. Rosa, what do you charge people just to talk to them?
I don't charge anything, being a realtor, you give it all your 100%. So realtors do not charge anything.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have that misconception that, I don't want to call because it's going to cost me money just to have a conversation. And it doesn't, because of people like you, Rosa, just out there wanting to help.
Yeah.
Good. So back to that one family. It was a roller coaster ride, and we had challenges with that, with the selling side, right?
Yes, sir.
And you and your partner, Patricia, you guys went way over and above. I mean, I was really impressed the amount of calls we had, and just to help them. And they were so grateful at closing. They were incredibly grateful, and thank you for the opportunity to help them, because I mean, it was challenging, but I mean, there was no, I mean, it was, you just kept going on and helping them. And I mean, they never thought they were going to, 25 years, 30 years renting. They never thought that they were going to buy a home. And you said you're going to help them, and you did. I mean, it was challenging.
There was no hesitation at all, of course. We did what we were able to do,
Right.
And we pulled forward, and that's what it's about,
Right. And planting those seeds in their children, because then we had the opportunity to meet their older son, and then we started doing a little financial literacy with them, and now, he's not ready yet, but he's on the right track.
Yes.
Whether he uses us, any member from REBA or not, he's going to go and know what he's going to do, how to do it. So by the time that he's ready to do it next year, buy his home, he's going to be much more prepared than his parents were. And he's going to teach that to his siblings, his younger
Yes.
siblings. So that's what it's about.
Yeah, with that same story, last year they had a nightmare and somebody who did take advantage of them, as you indicated earlier. And so I'm glad that we were able to turn that around and have a happy place for them as well.
He's a deacon of his church. He's like, you guys
Yeah.
got to come in and tell everybody how to buy a home, how to save, how to prepare for a business or a car or this, or because they also did a little side business. So it's not just somebody that wants to buy a home. It's somebody that wants to grow, wants something better for their family. And that's one step for home and home ownership. And now he has that pride, and the wife has that pride that they are owners of their own home where they thought they couldn't. Now their kids get to see that. Now they get to grow. I'm sorry. I just love that story.
It is a great story, of course.
It is a fabulous story. So, Rosa, tell people that are new to the home buying process, what kind of timeline are they looking at from, hey, they give you a call and you get them qualified with someone?
Everybody's story is different. It depends on where they fall in financially and what their history is, credit history. But, if things are right, we can make it happen. It can be within, 30 to 45 days, but if you need a little bit more help, it doesn't matter how long it takes.
Yeah, I was going to say, how long will you hang on to somebody? How long will you help them?
I've held on to somebody. I'm actually going to be helping somebody who came to me about 2 years ago.
Isn't that the greatest?
Yeah, they needed to set back a little bit, and they took care of what they needed to do, and we've got an executed contract. We'll be closing here shortly. Yeah,
That's
so
amazing.
it doesn't matter how long. We will push forward for you to make it happen.
That's amazing.
That's fantastic. So, Rosa, somebody that's looking to get into real estate, somebody that wants to get into volunteering, how would they go up? I mean, can you do one without the other, or is it better to do both?
I think in my situation, I like to do it all. I don't choose one over the other,
Is there time to do both?
Yes, there's definitely time when you put your mindset to it. But of course, you need to sit back a little bit and think about it. I am the person that doesn't know how to say no sometimes. But it's great, though, because my family sees it.
Right.
My children see it. And then they're involved as well. And I get them involved whenever I do events with the HREBA.
So it's a family affair.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Oh, that's fantastic. So where do you see the future with HREBA?
HREBA, when I first joined, we were fairly small. We didn't get to know. But look at us now. I mean, we're on network radio and we're all over, and we're podcasting and reaching out to a lot of different organizations, even in other states, who probably want to expand and want to be what we do.
What is it that we do?
Well, HREBA basically is an organization of different networks of, anything in the real estate industry. And we help low to moderate income families, and we do financial literacy and assist and, what's needed. Next year, we've got a lot of great things coming, so I'm excited about that. Well, sorry, this year. Within the next couple of weeks, yeah.
She's a week behind.
I'm a week No, but we've got a lot of great programs coming.
Which program's coming out?
Echo.
Echo.
We've got a program called Echo, so I'm excited to help out with that, and we'll give more details about that later.
Exactly. So remember, Echo, you heard it here first. It's a great program to help homeowners that are on the cusp of being there, and this is a program that we HREBA are exclusively promoting. So, Rosa, tell us what home ownership means to you personally.
Personally, home ownership to me means being able to have the world in your hands, being able to have the choice to do whatever you want in your own household without having limitations. Home ownership is the pride of being able to accomplish something, no matter how old you are.
Yeah.
When I got married, I got my house fairly young too. I didn't want to wait too long and have to be in an apartment or live with my parents. I wanted to have the fulfillment of being able to have something of call our own. Yes. And
there's never too old. I helped a young lady of 78 buy her home, and it was her first home. Nice. So you're never too late. It's never too late. You always have that dream. So is that why you painted your house purple on the outside? Because you can do whatever you want? I'm just kidding. She didn't. She did not. So exactly. Give me an example of what you can do in your own place.
In my own place, basically, not being in part of an HOA, but there's nothing wrong with being a part of an HOA. But you don't have your neighbors where you don't have the walls where you can hear them.
Right.
You have the ability to be able to design your home the way that you want and be yourself and enjoy your family.
All right. Fantastic. Well, Rosa, thank you so much for being the member of the month. I truly appreciate you. We truly appreciate you here with your commitment to the community and to the organization. So Rosa Meza has been with us.
Rosa, thank you so much for being part of our first spotlight. We're going to have this every week with a new member, but we're super excited that you got to join us today.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored because, home ownership is the best thing. And what I always say, because in my lifestyle, I'm a baseball mom, so there's no place like home.
Yeah.
Home base. Yes.
Home base.
Let me read it.
Go ahead.
Okay. Here at the HREBA Show, we serve you serve you by providing information about home ownership as you prepare for home ownership or to sustain your current home. It is important to us that you have all the information and tools you need to make informed financial decisions. Sorry about that, guys. Become a loyal fan of this and the HREBA Show.
We are the Hispanic Real Estate Brokers Association, a registered 501c3 nonprofit corporation. We've been streaming live on Facebook and at the HREBA Show. Please follow us on Facebook and Twitter at HREBA Show, and that's HREBA Show. This episode is available as a podcast on the HREBA Show page at fbrn.us and at the HREBAconnect.org, and that's HREBA Connect.org. If you have specific questions or comments, you may email us at HREBAshow@HREBAconnect.org. Again, I'm Salvador Villalobos, your host. Co-hosting with me is Val Garcia. Thank you for listening. Have a great afternoon. See you next week.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Leticia
And Sal.
of the HREBA Show, Homeownership Hear It From the Experts, broadcasting each week live.